Thank you for watching the Electronic Playground podcast. I'm so excited. I have Chicago Steve here with me today, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chicago Steve.
You have been a comedian for 50 years.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Long time.
Back when the photos were black and white.
That's right.
Photo.
Everything was in black and white. There was no color.
What actually inspired you to get into the career of making people laugh?
Well, I was always funny. I was always a wise guy in school. And when I was in, I think I was 9 years old. My mother remarried an Englishman.
Oh.
And he was actually an earl. He had titles and everything. And I don't know how my mother snagged him, but she did. And he was a huge comedy fan. He loved British humor, and he loved American humor, and he loved Jonathan Winters.
Okay.
And he had 2 Jonathan Winters albums, and he played those for me, and something just clicked. And I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life. So I would memorize these albums. So I'm going into 5th grade and I'm doing these bits and stuff, and pretty soon the teacher's charging a cover charge and a 2 mil minimum, to get into 5th grade. So I started doing then. I started, telling jokes. I was always telling jokes. I was always getting in trouble in school, talking. Mm-hmm. The teachers would be saying, something's wrong with Steven. He does these voices. We're not sure about him,
Is that one of the voices?
That was one of the voices. Like, shut up! Yeah, so I've always been funny. I've always thought funny, which has gotten me into a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. I hitchhiked to California in 1971.
Okay.
And I'd saved up $350 and bought a backpack and a new pair of Fry boots. And on April 21st, 1971, I hitchhiked to California. It took me 3 days to hitchhike. And on the road, I bumped into this guy from Boston named Larry. And he said, I'm going out to Sacramento to meet my girlfriend. I'm going to surprise her. And I said, oh, do you want to hitchhike together? And he said, yeah. And all the way out there, he's telling me how beautiful she is. Oh, she's great. She's a fox. And so we hitchhiked to California, and we got to Sacramento, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And we walk up, she lives in an apartment building. We walk up to the apartment building, and he knocks on the door, and she opens up the door and goes, oh my God, Larry! And they were from Boston. And she goes, ah! And there's this Puerto Rican guy standing behind her, and her name is Connie, and she's got hickeys all over her neck. And Larry looks at her, and all of a sudden, her roommate, Rachel, runs past her and maces Larry in the face, because she doesn't know what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm behind Larry, and I go, yeah, I run down the sidewalk because I don't want to get maced. And she goes, Rachel, it's Larry, don't mace him. And he's going, ah, like this. So that was interesting. So we stayed with them for 3 days, and then Larry had to hitchhike back to Boston to do his finals. And I had a friend that was living in Riverside, so I hitchhiked down to Riverside and stayed there for a month. And I rented an apartment for $75.
A night?
For a month. I was the student apartment complex right across from UC Riverside. And so I'm starting to run out of money, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I really don't know what I want to do. Maybe I'll go back to Illinois. So I called a friend of mine up, and he hitchhiked to California. He said, I want to see it. So we started hitchhiking. So we went to Arizona, and we had a friend there. And she said, if you ever come to Arizona, come visit me. So we hitchhiked out there, and we get to her place, and she goes, oh, this is great. You guys can stay if you want. Stay 2 or 3 days. And we said, great, this is fantastic. Then our mom came home, and she said, who are you? And we said, oh, we're friends of Kim. And she goes, and what are your plans? And we said, well, she said we could stay 2 or 3 days. So she goes, no, you can stay the night, and then you have to leave tomorrow. So she kicked us out. So we decided, well, we're here in Arizona. Let's go to the Grand Canyon. So we hitchhiked to the Grand Canyon, and we camped out there. It was $5 a week to camp. And so we're camped out there at this campsite, and this big school bus comes rolling in with all these hippies from Pennsylvania, and they had spent 2 years fixing up this school bus into a camper. And so we hung out with them for a week, and then another week, and we dumpster dived every day because there was a little Safeway store, and they were throwing away perfectly good food. So we're living like kings, we're having a great time. So they said, well, we're going to California. And we said, can we go with you? And they said, sure. So we went to we came back to California with them. And Rachel and Connie in Sacramento had said, we're moving to Pacific Grove, California. So if you're ever in Pacific Grove, come see us. So we hung out with these people in the school bus until they decided to go back to Pennsylvania. And then John and I said, let's go to Pacific Grove. So we hitchhiked to Pacific Grove and called up Rachel, and she let us live there. So we lived in Pacific Grove. So I ended up in Pacific Grove. Not a bad place to end up. And I was, after a while, she kicked us out. I don't know why, but she kicked us out. And so I was homeless for a while. And then I met this couple at a party. There was some people having a party, and her name was Stephanie, and his name was Steve. And Steve was from New York. And Stephanie's parents owned a home down on Lover's Point, and that's where they were living. And Stephanie said, where do you live? And I said, well, I'm kind of homeless. And she said, no, you can sleep on our living room floor till you get a job. And I went, wow, that's great. So I moved in with them. However, there was already 2 more guys living there. It was a great big guy. He was going to the Naval Postgraduate School. His name was Steve, so they called him Big Steve. And there was a guy going to the community college there, and they called him Little Steve. And
my goodness.
So now me and my friend, who was from Yazoo City, Mississippi, his name was Steve Cope. And so now there's 5 Steves living in the house. So the phone would ring, and they'd go, Steve there? And she'd go, where's he from? And they'd go, New York. New York Steve, telephone. Chicago Steve, telephone. So I became Chicago Steve.
Oh, gotcha.
So everybody started calling me Chicago Steve because we played volleyball every day with Carmel Steve and Panama Steve.
Okay.
And so we're all these Steves. So I got my first job, and I got my first job as a gravedigger in Monterey. And we actually had to dig the graves by hand because it's the oldest working cemetery in California. So we'd be digging a grave and bump into a grave we didn't know there. And we'd go,
my gosh.
Oops. And so we'd fill it in and move over a couple of feet and dig the grave. So I did that, and then I got a job as a garbage man. And I drove a garbage truck for 5.5 years in Pacific Grove. And I wanted to do comedy. And so I would carry a yellow pad in my garbage truck, and I would write bits while I was doing the garbage man thing. And there was a little cafe on Cannery Row called the Old Row Cafe. And I went to them and I said, can I do an open mic night? And we'll call it Catch a Rising Star Night. And so he said, yeah, sure. So we started doing that every Tuesday night. And it became very popular. And so that's where I started doing comedy. I was developing my bits. And that's where I did a bit on motorcycle noises that I did on America's Funniest People. And that's where I wrote that bit while I was a garbage man. And then one day I saw an ad in the paper, and it said, The Heirs of Lenny Bruce, a stand-up comedy show in San Francisco at a library. And I said to my buddy, let's go up and see that. So we went up to the city and saw the show, and I'm looking at these comedians, and I'm thinking, that's what I do. I tell jokes to my friends. And so they said, if you want to see more comedy, come down to the Holy City Zoo at 5th and Clement. So we said, let's go. So we went down there. So we went down there, and Robin Williams was there, and Jane Dornacker, and all these San Francisco comedians. So I'm watching the show, and I walked up to the manager, and I said, how do you get to do this? And he said, sign up on Monday nights, and you get 5 minutes. So I said, okay. So I started driving from Pacific Grove up to San Francisco every Monday night to do 5 minutes, 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. But the San Francisco comedians would say, okay, Chicago Steve, you're going to go on at 9:15. Oh, Billy J's here. You're going to go on at 9:30. Oh, Dr. Gonzo's here. You're going to go on at 9:45. And then pretty soon, I'm not getting on until 12:45, 1 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
And I got a 2.5 hour drive back. So I did that for about 6 or 7 months, and I thought, this is not really going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So I started going around to the venues in Monterey that had live music. And I said, can I do your band breaks? And so I would get 3 15-minute sets a night. And I thought, well, I've got 15 minutes of material, and which I found out I had 3 minutes of material. And then I'm doing a lot of improvising, like, so where are you from? And stuff like that. And when the bands would break, that's when guys wanted to talk to the girls. but they can't because there's idiots on stage going, hey, I got a parrot joke I want to tell you. I was doing these horrible parrot jokes and just horrible material. And so they would actually throw fruit from their drinks at me.
Oh.
So I would come home with like maraschino cherry stains, and they would throw lime and olives at me and stuff like that. But I learned how to do comedy in rough situations. Then I saw an ad in the Chronicle for auditions for the San Francisco Comedy Competition. So I went up to San Francisco to the Punchline. I auditioned and I got in. And so I did the competition and I did reasonably well. And the guy that put the competition on invited me to start working for him. Oh. So I began as an MC. I started hosting shows. So I did that for 3 or 4 years. And then I started featuring. And I featured for another 5 or 6 years. And then I became a headliner. And so that's where it all began that way.
And you've worked with some really incredible people along the way. I mean, just looking at your website briefly, there were quite a few faces that I recognized. Who has really stood out to you? I'm sure you have several.
Boy, God, there's so many. Jay Leno, for one. One of the nicest comedians in the world. One of the nicest guys in the world. Louis Anderson helped me out. My first casino gig, I opened up for Louis, and he was just terrific. Gave me pointers, told me things that you might want to reword this joke, reword it that way, do that way, shorten that joke, get to the punchline faster. Gary Muledeer. Gary used to shoot arrows with his guitar. He played the guitar and he would shoot arrows with the guitar strings. He was very funny. Those guys would probably be some of the most influential, and then of course I had my favorites, George Carlin, Jonathan Winter. These guys were huge. And then I grew up, being as old as I am, listening to the old comedians like Milton Berle and Sid Caesar and Jack Benny, Danny Thomas, Red Skelton. And so my comedy is kind of like that, kind of an old style comedy. I tell stories rather than I tell jokes. I'm not a joke machine like Rodney Dangerfield.
Right.
Or, hey, I tell you, no respect. My wife, I don't do that. I tell stories.
Right.
It's just more like Jonathan Winters. Because Jonathan was my biggest inspiration. I just think he was one of the funniest people in the whole world. He was just amazing. What a mind. Just an incredible mind in the stuff that he does. When he comes on TV, I start laughing as soon as I see his face because I know something's gonna. And he was also Robin Williams' inspiration.
Oh, okay.
Robin was a huge, and that's when they did Mork and Mindy. I don't know if you remember that show.
I do.
Yeah, I saw some of the scripts from that show, and all it would say is Robin and Jonathan are funny, and they would just improvise and just make stuff up.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
Have you gotten really good at improvising, or do you really plan out your sets?
I have an idea what I'm going to say when I get up stage, but a lot of times things will happen in the audience where it's easy to improvise from that.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of improvising, yeah. And I also will think of stuff while I'm on stage. I'll think of a tagline to a joke that I've been doing for years, so I'll do that. But it's a fluid process,
Have there been moments where you're up on a large stage and you're just not getting the reaction that you kind of need?
I'll give you an example. I was in Atlantic City, and I got a phone call on a Wednesday, and they said, can you be in Atlantic City this weekend? And I said, sure. And they said, great. You're going to be at the Claridge House Casino opening for Juice Newton. And I said, great. So they flew me there and picked me up in a limo, and I get to the casino, and a big fruit basket, and thank you for coming and everything. Well, come to find out that Debbie Reynolds and Donald O'Connor were originally booked for that show. And Donald O'Connor got sick. So Debbie Reynolds canceled too. So they replaced them with Juice Newton and me. And they didn't tell the audience.
Oh, no.
So I've got an audience filled with 80-year-old Jewish people and their parents that are here to see Debbie Reynolds and Donald O'Connor, which they remember from the 40s. And so they go, ladies and gentlemen, because unfortunately, Mr. Donald O'Connor became sick and will not be able to be on the show tonight. But instead, we've got Juice Newton and Chicago Steve. And the crowd goes, oh. Because, what the hell is this? What? We came all the way from Jersey for this. What is this? What? Hey, who is this? Hey. And they're not upset. So I come out on stage, and this is during the Miami Vice days. The TV show is very popular. So I got a white suit on. I got a pastel t-shirt, no socks, white shoes. And I got hey, all right, how you doing? And I do my first line, nothing. Nothing. There's like 700 people. And
Oh, wow.
and so I do another couple of bits, and it's going, and this lady is say something funny, honey. And I'm going, hey. So I get done doing my set. I go, thank you. I think 3 people out of 700 clap. And so I go backstage, and the station manager goes, that was rough. I go, yeah, that was. So Juice Newton comes out, and they go, hey, it's the first song, boom, no applause. And she goes, seriously? And so they do that. The audience is not having it.
Oh.
So she bombs, I bomb, and as people are walking out, there's more people waiting for the second show, and they're going, "Don't go in there. It's not Debbie Reynolds. It's some comedian guy, and this juice. Who knows? And orange juice, prune juice. I don't know." And
Oh my God!
and it was, oh my God, it was a nightmare. But I've done some corporate shows where. I did a show at Spanish Bay, and I walk into the banquet room where I'm doing the show, and I'm doing the show for 5 people. And I walk in, and there's 3 guys and 2 women. And the men are sitting here, and the woman she has her back to the stage. And I said to the maitre d', I said, is there somebody going to introduce me? And he goes, I don't know. I go, well, will you? And he goes, okay. So he walks up to the microphone. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, here's your entertainment for the night, Chicago Steve. And he hands me the microphone, and the woman is talking to the guys, turns around, she goes, you gotta be kidding me. So anyway, Bob, and she kept her back to me the whole time. They talked among themselves for I did 35 minutes. So I just did the show to the waiters. I did the show to them and the cooks, and they're laughing and stuff. But she kept her back, the whole, none of them paid attention. But I don't care, I'm getting paid,
Yeah.
So.
I was going to ask you, when you walk away from a show like that, how do you handle that internally with yourself? Do you have to talk yourself through it, build your confidence back up, or you're just another show?
I got paid. I came in, did my set. They didn't listen. Not my job. I did my job, and so I don't care.
I liked what you said, though, from the beginning. You were saying how when you first started out, people were actually throwing fruit at you.
Right.
And then you get to that one show, and they have a fruit basket for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Kind of opposite end of the spectrum here.
I hid all the fruit that was in the fruit basket just in case.
Just in case, I was wondering.
I didn't think they're funny,
I kind of thought you were going to tie that in. It somehow the fruit basket got opened, and
we just did.
Hearing those stories, have you ever thought, you know what, I'm done with this?
A couple of times. Yeah, there was a couple of times when I thought, I don't know if I can do this, and but then I thought, I don't have a job, so I have to do this.
Yeah.
So I would just plow through it. But there was a lot of times when I was on the road. I was a road warrior for 35 years, and there'd be times when I would just go, I am tired of traveling. I'm tired of living in condos. I'm tired of living in hotels and motels and stuff. And my first wife wanted to live in Pebble Beach. So in order to afford that, I had to be on the road 3 weeks a month.
And you had to be really funny.
Yeah. So I'm on the road traveling. I would come for a week, and it got to the point where it felt weird being home. And she would say to me, you don't talk when you're home. And that's because when I'm on the road, I'm by myself, I'm taking care of me. So there's nobody to talk to, so I'm internalizing everything. So I would have to force myself to say hey, how are you doing? How's your day? Because there was nobody else. When I'm on the road, I'm alone. Mm-hmm. And so it was very strange for a while. And finally, I was in Evansville, Indiana. And I had done the show on Saturday night, and I'm not a big party guy. I barely drink. And so the other comedians would go out and party and stuff like that. And I would go back to the condo and just watch TV and kick back. And I'd gone back to the condo, and I was asleep. And it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I hear the other comedians come in. They got a couple of girls with them, and they're partying, the music, and boom, 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 and I go, okay. So I'd go to sleep, and I go, I'd wake up.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Then I'd fall asleep again. So finally, I look over at the clock, and it's 4:45, and they're still partying. And I opened up the bedroom door, and I go, hey, shut up. And one of the girls looks over at the other comedian and goes, "Oh my God, is that your dad?" And I went, "That's it. I'm done. I got to get off the road. I got to get off the road. I can't do this." There was another time shortly after that, I was flying out of Phoenix at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I would always try to get on the plane first. Because I had this thing about I wanted to be in the ninth row aisle seat. Ninth row aisle seat. 6 o'clock in the morning. So I get on the plane. I'm the first one on the plane. I'm sitting there, good, I'm settled in. And I'm looking down the aisle, and people are coming on. And this enormous woman wearing this bright yellow dress with flowers, and she's got on one of these Kentucky Derby hats that the women wear with the big, and I am 9 rows up, and I can smell her, and she is covered in Giorgio perfume, and I know it's Giorgio because my first wife used to wear Giorgio, and I go, "Oh my God!" I go, "Not next to me, please. Not next to me. Not next to me. Not." And she comes rolling up the aisle and stops right next to me. And she goes, "You know what? I think you're in my seat." I go, "No, I'm not." And she goes, "No, you are." She goes, "I'm in an aisle seat. I'm in A." I go, "A is the window." She goes, "No, A is the aisle." I go, "No, it's A, B, C. You're in the window." She goes, "I specifically asked for an aisle seat." I go, "I don't care." I go, "I'm not moving." And she goes, "You won't accommodate me?" I go, No, I'm going to sit right here." Bing, 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 bing. She hit the button. And the stewardess walks up and she goes, "He's in my seat." She goes, "Let me see your boarding pass," because she's trying to get everybody on plane. And she goes, "Ma'am, you're in the window seat." She goes, "I specifically asked." She goes, "Ma'am, just sit down. Let me get everybody on the plane." And so she's upset. I got to get up, let her in. She's not happy. And now, the Giorgio, I've got tears in my eyes. It's so strong. I mean, the paint on the seat in front of me is beginning to melt. There's that much, I see the laptop, it just begins to melt like this. And I'm going, so I'm sitting there and I've got my handkerchief over my nose like this. And she goes, "Excuse me, do you have a problem?" I go, "Yeah, I do." I go, "It's 6 o'clock in the morning." I go, "You just climbed into a metal tube filled with people." I go, "Did you put that perfume on with a hose?" She goes, "How dare you?" I go, "No, how dare you?" I go, This is crazy you've got so much perfume on." Ding, 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 ding. So she walks up and she goes, "I want him thrown off the plane." I go, "I didn't do anything." I go, "Can you smell her?" And the stewardess goes, "Ma'am," she goes, I can't do it. She goes, "I want him off the plane now." And she goes, "Let me get everybody seated." So they finally get everybody seated and she's ticked off and I'm miserable. And all of a sudden I hear in the loudspeaker, "Steve Barkley, would you please get your luggage and come to the front?" She goes, "Ha ha, I got you kicked off." And I'm going, "This is unbelievable."
What?
I go, so I get my overhead and she goes, "Yeah." And I go, "You suck." And so I come up to the front of the plane and the stewardess goes, "I'm so sorry." She goes, "I don't know how you could even stand to sit next to her. I'm moving you up to first class." And I go, "Thank you so much." And those are the days where they would pull the little curtain, from first class.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the last row in first class and the stewardess says, she goes, "Would you like a glass of champagne?" I said, "I would love a glass of champagne." So she brings me the champagne, and so I get the champagne. So I pull the little curtain, and I look back there, and I wave at her, and I go, and I show the champagne. Bing, 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 bing. And so I just drank champagne all the way back home.
Wow, that's a nice.
That worked out pretty well.
Is it so ingrained in you that that's literally the only job that would fulfill you?
Pretty much, because I've done other jobs. And I get in trouble because I'm being funny at the jobs. And they're going, I love this when they say, "What are you, Barkley, a comedian?" I go, "Actually, I am." And so I got fired from Trader Joe because I was disrupting the other employees. I was making them laugh. And so I had, my wife and I were living in Walnut Creek, and she became a falconer and got a job up here in Browns Valley at a falconry center. So we moved from Walnut Creek up to where I live now, up in Brownsville. And I had a job. I was in Lake Tahoe working at Harris. I was in a review with the Blues Brothers. And the show got canceled because Judy Belushi, John Belushi's wife, filed a cease and desist order against us. She said, I own the Blues Brothers. And we said, no, you don't own the Blues. You can't copyright the fedora and the black suit.
Right.
And the music's not yours. But she had a Blues Brothers group that she managed, and she wanted them to be doing the gigs that we were doing.
Oh.
So the casino just said, look, we don't want to do the whole lawyer thing. We're going to end the show. So it ended early. So I came back and I had no work. I didn't have any job. So I said, what am I going to do? So I became a driving school instructor here in Yuba City, and got into trouble a lot because it's making the students laugh and being funny. And then I decided I got to go back to comedy full time because this is not working. And plus, being a driving school instructor, oh my God, it was a nightmare. Because you're driving along and these kids are going, well, I think I'll hit that tree. That one looks like a good one to steer at. And we'd be driving, and I'm looking at the student, and I'm going, you're going to turn, right? You're going to turn. And I'd have to grab the steering wheel and go, you're going to hit the tree, you know? And some of these kids are just brain dead.
Wow.
Then I had some kids that were furious that they had to get a driver's license. And they just go, I don't need a driver's license. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there's buses.
Or hitchhiking.
Or hitchhiking, right? Well, that's too dangerous now.
That was before.
That was before, yeah. It's too crazy now. So I decided I got to go back into comedy full time. So that's where my home is. That's what I'm supposed to do. You know, I think that it's destiny what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think there's subtle changes, there's pushes. The universe pushes you into what you're supposed to do.
I believe that too. I believe we are born with something intrinsic. Like
Right.
It's something very unique, and you don't always fit into like cookie cutter situations.
That's it.
And some people don't want to grasp that and just be happy with that. They
Right.
try to fit into the cookie cutter, and then they're unhappy. So
Yeah.
I love hearing that you just kept following your dreams, even during times when people might not have supported you the way you would want to be supported.
Right.
Are there things that you've had to like avoid or stay away from when it comes to your content for joking around?
Oh, sure. You have to read your crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of comics don't do that, and they get in trouble for it. But if you're working with an older crowd, you know, you don't want to get too blue. They don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like blue material. And then you get crowds that want real blue material, you know, because I've done cruise ships. It's got to be real clean on the cruise ships.
Gotcha.
And then you take that same cruise ship act to a comedy club, and they think you're boring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have to read your audience. You know, there's some subjects that you have to stay away from, especially today in this world that we live in. You know, it's so divisive, and people are just up in arms. You can say the wrong thing, and you just set off a firestorm.
Mm-hmm.
So you reach a point where I know that I'm going to tick somebody off, and if I don't tick somebody off, I'm not doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't bring politics into my act because I think that when people come to a comedy club or a comedy venue, they want to leave that stuff at the door.
Mm-hmm.
They want to get away from it because they're bombarded with that stuff every day, all day long. It's on the news, it's on TV, sometimes it's with conversations with their friends. Let's go to a safe place and just laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to do. I just want to make people laugh.
Now that you have a lot of life experience behind you in all of the 50 years you've been doing this comedy, if you could go back and talk to yourself and tell yourself something from when you first started, what would you tell yourself?
Don't be afraid. Go ahead and do things that you didn't do. I wish I had done, I wish I'd been bolder. I wish I had taken more chances, and fate favors the bold, and I wish I had been bolder. I wish I had listened to my internal voice rather than my fear. There's an old saying, never take counsel from your fears. And I would do that. I'd be afraid of failing, so I wouldn't do certain bits. I wouldn't audition for certain shows because I was afraid of bombing. Mm-hmm. And I was terrified of bombing publicly in like for a TV show or something like that.
Right.
And it was, I would, and also I would have gotten into comedy sooner. I wish I had gotten into comedy as soon as I got out to California.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how your wife has supported you in your career.
My second wife supports me completely. My first wife said, quote, "I thought this little comedy thing you do would get old and you would get a real job."
Okay.
Yeah, we're living in Pebble Beach. I was doing commercials for Toyota, and she's driving a brand new Toyota Supra, wearing designer shoes, and she referred to my career as this little comedy thing you do. And she was saying, she said, "I pictured me going to the dry cleaners and picking up your white shirts and you wearing a tie." And I go, "Are you nuts? I met you at a gig. You know, what is wrong with you?" You know.
But now you have Jana, and Jana is a falconer.
Yeah,
and
she's a falconer.
she is a phenomenal falconer.
Yeah,
she has done work for our downtown,
Yeah.
and she helped get the crows to move to a different area so that we don't have all the problems down here that we had. So how has Jana supported you in your
She
journey?
is really encouraging. She'll come up with ideas for me for bits. She chased all the crows away from downtown. She sometimes uses the hawks to chase me around the house and everything. She goes, "I told you to mow the lawn. Why didn't you?" I'm like, "All right, okay, you know, I'm on the lawn.
She brings out some big claws.
Yeah, like this, you know, like, "Oh, let go of my ear," you know. So, but she's been real supportive. I've done cruise ships, and she's right there. You know, she supports me and welcomes me back. She's been a huge asset, and that's really important in a relationship, because I know other comedians whose wives are resentful that they're doing comedy, and it's a burden because you're trying to placate your wife, but you're trying to live your dream. You're trying to do what you know you're supposed to do.
Right.
So she's been terrific. I mean, she's really been great. You know, she encourages me. She gives me she was an actress before I met her, and won awards for her work on the stage. She won an award. She played Helen Keller in The Miracle Worker.
Oh, wow.
She's amazing. She's really, I mean, she's so well read, and she can quote Shakespeare, and you know, I can quote Bugs Bunny. You know, she's you know, telling me, she's giving me quotes from Socrates and Plato, and
you're playing with Plato.
And I'm playing with Plato, and I'm giving her Stewie Griffin quotes. You know, and she I love Family Guy. And she just thinks it's just juvenile and gross. And so she'll walk into the room and I'm watching Family Guy, and she goes, "Oh." And she walks out. She said, "You have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old. And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "No, that's it. That's it."
You said thank you.
I go, "I know."
And your first wife didn't really support it because she thought it's like a little thing you did and it wasn't really a career or a job. I've heard another comedian, I thought it was super funny when he's talking about his career, and he said, "Yeah, sure, I could think of an easier way to make $8,000 a year." You know, like that's a joke. And I was like, that is so funny.
Yeah.
But in reality, I mean, obviously there is real money in this career.
There is. You can make astounding money. I mean, if you can get into, like I do mostly, I don't work too many comedy clubs anymore. I usually work corporate events, breweries, wineries, things like that, because they pay more. They'll pay more in one night than a week in a comedy club.
Okay.
And so that's what you want to aim for. You want to aim for that, and you make tremendous money. I was living in Pacific Grove, and I got a call. And it was a guy from Shell Oil. And he said, I want you to put together a 3-comedian show. We're doing a conference at the Hyatt Regency in Monterey. And I said, I can do that. And he goes, "Okay, how much would that cost?" And I thought, wow, Shell Oil. Okay, that's a lot of money. So I'm gonna go big time. I go, $8,000. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And I went, because I could have asked for $30,000.
Wow.
And they would have went for it. And, but I didn't want to price myself out of the job. So I've learned now, ask for the world.
Yeah.
You can always come down. You can never go up, but you can ask for the world. So yeah, there's really, and boy, if you get into, it's like your comedy career goes a step, a step, a step, and then there's this real high step. And if you're able to get up to that high step, if you can get some TV credits behind you, then you can make some really big money. In the old days, like if you would win the San Francisco comedy competition, the next week you were on Carson or you were on Letterman.
Oh.
It carried a lot of weight, and it was a lot of money too. There was a lot of money to win the San Francisco comedy competition. Well, now Carson's gone, Letterman's gone, and all the daytime shows, Merv Griffin, all these afternoon shows, the comedians used to go on those shows and get well known from that. But a lot of the comedians now are streaming. And look at Matt Rife. I mean, he didn't do the comedy club thing. It was all streaming. Mm-hmm. And now he's filling 60,000 seat auditoriums.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. So the comedians are going around, they're doing things a new way. It's like a lot of musical groups are doing that. They're not signing with record companies anymore, and the record companies take all their money and own their music. They're streaming their own music, and they're getting all the money directly. Yeah. That's the key. But there's a lot of money to be made in TV commercials. I have a friend lives down in Carmel Valley, and she does TV commercials. She did a Burger King commercial, and all she said was, char-broiled. 30 grand.
She didn't have to sing the song?
Nope, 30 grand.
Gosh.
30 grand, and then she gets residual checks. Because when you get a TV commercial, the country's divided into 3 sections, 1, 2, and 3. And if you can get a commercial that plays across all 3, you make a lot of money. You got checks coming in. She calls it mailbox money. And she goes out to the mailbox, and there's a check for 5 grand. There's a check for 10 grand. So that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want to get them, because there's a lot of money to be made in show business. I mean, if you look at people don't understand how much money there is in show business and music. I mean, musical artists. I was down in the Bahamas. I was doing a gig down there, and we were taking a little shuttle from the Atlantis resort, from the island to the mainland. And the guy was going, yeah, that's where Keith Richards' house is, and that's Paul McCartney's house, and that's Richard Harris's house. And like Keith Richards and the Stones, when they fly, they don't pack suitcases. They just fly there. They've got complete homes with all their clothes. Everything's already there. And there's comedians. Larry the Cable Guy, he's got this huge ranch, this big farm in Nebraska. I mean, he made, his motto is "Get her done." Remember that?
Oh yeah.
He made over $10 million just in knickknacks and keychains that said "Get her done," bumper stickers, "Get her done," like that, because he copyrighted it.
Wow. And thinking back to yourself when you started and thinking about where you are now, how has your definition of success changed?
Well, that's funny. What's the definition of success? And I think that's subjective. I've never reached, the real tip-top success. But I've also been able to buy homes and provide for my family for 50 years doing comedy.
Wow.
And doing what I love to do. I've only had to take day jobs, I think, twice in my 50-year career, and those were only for, one was for a year, the other one was for about 7 months. But out of all that time, I've been able to focus and just do comedy.
That's incredible.
And so, is that a success? I think so. I'm doing what I love to do.
Yeah. How would you want people to remember you?
As someone who made them laugh. I love walking into a room of complete strangers and making them laugh. I did a show up in Folsom, and a woman came up to me and she said, this is the first time that I've been out in almost a year. She said, my husband passed away.
Oh.
And I've just been so down. And she goes, and you made me laugh tonight. And that meant so much to me, that I was able to bring her up and bring some joy to her. Because that's all I want to do, is make people laugh.
Yeah, kind of snap them out of the mindset. Like, you can kind of get locked into that negativity, and then just hearing the right message totally shift your day.
I did a play. I was in a church play. I think I was 13. I had 2 words in the play. I was a janitor. And I was in almost all the scenes in the play, other people. And during the play, they would be dropping stuff on the ground. And I was a janitor in the play. And I'd be sweeping it up, and I'd get everything swept up, and they would throw something down. I'd have to go back and sweep it up again. And there's one scene where a cop came walking in, and he goes, hey, everybody, calm down. We don't want any funny business in here. And I said, who says? And the crowd just wham, they just huge laugh. And I thought to myself, wow, that is amazing. And I remember thinking about that reaction that I got just from those 2 words, and it's very addictive. Boy, it's have that kind of power. Biggest audience I've ever done was 60,000.
60,000. Where was that?
Golden Gate Park, Comedy Day, 86, I think it was. A friend of mine, his name was Jose Simon. He was a San Francisco comedian. He put Comedy Day on with 4 other comics and Robin Williams. And he came up to me. I used to book a room in Monterey at book comedy shows. And he came up and he hands me this manila envelope and he goes, I've been putting Comedy Day on for 5 years. And the San Francisco Chronicle photographer took a picture. He goes, am I in the picture? No, you are. And he hands me the picture. And the photographer took a picture. It's a wide angle lens of 60,000 people. And then there's the stage right here, and then I'm this big on the stage.
Oh, wow.
So I've got that framed in my house. And it was so weird because you would tell the joke and you would hear the laughter.
Whoa.
It would roll out and you would have to wait until you heard the last before you begin the next joke, or else you'd be stepping over the laughter. But
that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I feel like stepping over laughter is hard. Like pausing and waiting for your next moment, especially when you're like, oh, I've planned this, I know exactly what I'm gonna say, but you have to wait.
Yep, complete different timing from a comedy club, or like at the brewery here in town. You know, it's bam, I get an immediate reaction like that. And it was strange, but that's one of the biggest crowds. I toured with the Righteous Brothers, and we were pretty big places, and 5,000-6,000 people. And we ended the show in St. Louis at the Fox Theater. That's where Chuck Berry and Keith Richards filmed Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll. And it was amazing. It's just amazing. I purposely watched Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll before the tour because I wanted to see where Keith Richards was standing. So I wanted to stand right where he stood, you know, on the stage where Chuck Berry was. And Chuck Berry insisted on filming that show at the Fox Theater because when he was a little boy, he wasn't allowed into the Fox Theater.
Oh, wow, that was very meaningful.
So it was very meaningful to him. So we get done doing the show, and the stage manager calls the Righteous Brothers over to the wall backstage at the theater, and he goes, I want you guys to sign the wall. And I'm looking at the wall. Mae West, W.C. Fields had signed it. Bob Hope, Yul Brynner, because they'd all done plays and shows there. And he hands the magic marker to Bill Medley and goes, here, sign it. And then he gives it to Bobby. And he looks at me and he goes, you don't sign. And I go, okay. And so he turned his back and Bobby goes, sign the wall. And he handed me the magic marker. So I signed my name underneath Bob Hope's name. And so my name's on the wall at the Fox Theater.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was pretty amazing. And every night I would do my set and they would come out and they'd go, how about that Charles Barkley? He's funny, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It is hard. I think a lot of people will say Charles, like just because of the last name.
I get that at airlines. I'm checking in and they go, you in relation to Charles? I go, yeah, he's my brother. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I get that all the time with my last name.
Aerosmith?
Yeah, I'm related to Steven Tyler.
Right. Would you say that's why they're called Aerosmith? Is because Steven Tyler and I knew each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Steve, I am just inspired. I love the enthusiasm and the passion that you have for what you do. I love that you embrace the inner you, and that is what you've chosen to do. Before we leave today, is there anything else you'd like to say?
We have comedy here in Yuba City.
Yes.
And I love that. I looked for a room when I first got here to do comedy, and I looked for a couple of years, and I found a home with the Sutter Buttes Brewing Company, and we do comedy there every month. And I'm bringing in great comics. We've had Steve Heitner from Seinfeld. We've had Tom Arnold. We've had him. We get the very best comedians from the San Francisco Bay Area, LA, Sacramento area comedians, Stockton, Modesto. So we do shows every month, and the shows are going great. I love doing that. I love being able to do comedy in my home area.
I love that too. I mean, I love, first of all, that we have a brewery in Yuba City.
I do too.
And then we do the comedy.
Third Sunday of every month.
Sunday of every month. It's a great time. You guys usually have a full house. Sometimes it's sold out. So always
very often we're sold out.
Good to get those tickets in advance.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. It's just and thank you for what you and Jake do. You guys do so much. And I left the Bay Area and I got up here, and I've really found a home here. This is really a great community.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's much smaller than people think too. Everybody knows everybody here.
It's true.
It's crazy, and I love that people know their supervisors, they know their mayors, they know it's just like everybody interacts, and it's a great community.
We have a wonderful community. We have wonderful leadership within our city.
We do.
They are taking care of things, and I appreciate all the hard work that they put in. They partner with our downtown to make the events wonderful for our community, and I couldn't agree with you more on that.
And the diversity is insane.
Yes, we have everything
we
you
have
could want.
everything. My God, we've got Indian community, Spanish community, Armenian. We've got crackers.
Yeah,
I'm part of the cracker community, and
I'm toasted sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and it's great because these are great areas to draw comedy from.
Yeah.
And make and it's just a wonderful thing. It's a great thing, and we really love it here.
We love it here too. I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yep.
I'm glad to have you as part of our community.
Thank you.
Making it a little bit funnier.
I love it.
A little bit brighter.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching.